Hi everyone, this is Charmander, and in this video, I'm going to do a Doomsday recommendation for how IGG can improve this game to keep the player base happy and at the same time improving the revenue that they earn, because ultimately the goal for IGG as a company is to earn money. So I think this is a good win-win solution for both the player base to keep them happy while keeping the wallet of IGG happy as well. My first recommendation is actually relating to Genesis War. So a lot of people complain about Genesis War not having good rewards, and I do think the rewards should be improved for sure. But the other big problem with this event is that the main battle window is only open at 14 UTC and it lasts 60 minutes. So the problem with 14 UTC is that it alienates people living in the Pacific time zone in North America. And you might think, oh, that's only one time zone. Who cares about those guys? Actually, there is a huge problem with this, both from a player-based standpoint and also from IGG trying to make money standpoint. So the biggest problem is a lot of people in the Pacific time zone won't be able to participate in this event. And if they won't be able to participate in this event, they will be turned off at spending money in this game because they won't be able to participate in all the major PvP events. And what makes this time zone so important is actually a lot of the richest people in the world lives in this time zone. We're talking about Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. I think Elon Musk also lives in this time zone. So basically the entire Silicon Valley is located in this time zone. And a lot of big tech companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, just to name a few, are all in this time zone, meaning the employees that work for these companies, minus Amazon, probably makes quite a bit of money, meaning they can be playing this game and they can be dumping money into this game, but they won't be dumping money into this game because they can't participate in this event because 14 UTC is 7 a.m. in the Pacific time zone, and in November, when there's daylight savings, it's actually 6 a.m. So there's no way in hell most players will wake up at 6 or 7 a.m. to fight on this battle window. So this battle window needs to be addressed. So there's two solutions for this. The first one is to make Genesis War kind of like Pompeii, where you can pick and choose the time zone that you want to fight in. And basically you just log in for that 1 hour, kind of like Pompeii, do the battle, and then you're done. The other recommendation is to bring back Genesis War to the original state where there is two battle windows. So the two battle windows will be friendly for different time zones, but ultimately that is just a secondary solution. The best solution is still to allow alliances to pick the time zone that they want to compete for this event and basically just treat it like Pompeii. Like the whole event is pretty much a waste of time anyways, because there's really only three things that you're doing. There's the chainsaw zombies at 4 UTC and 8 UTC. And then there's also the main battle window at 14 UTC. But no one cares about the chainsaw zombie phase. It's actually boring and lame. Really, you're playing this for the main battle window, right? So instead, I think the best solution is to actually offer two battle windows and make it Pompeii registration style, where every alliance will pick two battle windows that they want to compete in, and then they would fight during those two battle windows that they prefer. So obviously, it would be good to offer multiple battle windows, kind of like Pompeii, and the alliance can pick and choose two out of the four battle windows, let's say, that best suits their time zone, allowing the players to be able to participate, especially those who lives in the Pacific time zone, where there's a lot of people that makes good money that can be spending money on this game. The next thing in this game that needs to be addressed are the dailies. After you've been playing this game for a while, no one wants to do every single daily bit by bit. When the Raider Station Pass was introduced, it was really helpful because not only do you get bonus items from buying the Raider Station Pass, but you can also just clear all the Raider Station quests. But they need to have an even upgraded pass from this that completes all the dailies that you have to do in the daily missions, and also just to complete all the stupid dailies that you have to do, whether that be from the Beast Base, where you have to do this stupid trapping navigation, or from the workshop, where you have to do this production site stuff. And the biggest culprit of them all is Bounty Ground. Most people hate Bounty Ground. No one wants to do this shit. That's why people are doing AFK Bounty Ground. So this pass that IGG could create will also clear Bounty Ground and also Water War, which a lot of people also hate. So what I'm recommending is, on top of the Raider Station Pass, they can do a clear all pass, maybe for $10 a month, that clears all the dailies like Bounty Ground, Water War. And the good thing about this is, for people who are free to play, they can still do the dailies and they don't have to pay anything extra. But for people who don't want to do the dailies, but they still want to keep playing this game, they can just pay that extra $10 a month, clear Bounty Ground, clear Water War, clear all the other BS that you have to do in your shelter, and maybe get a little bit of bonus item as a incentive for getting that $10 monthly clear all pass. And it's going to help retain players, allow them to keep playing this game longer because they're not feeling like, oh, I have to do this tedious task today. My next recommendation for changes in the game Doomsday Last Survivor is actually with the event called Archipelago Raid. I think 5 days for Archipelago Raid is way too long, and there's also another reason why having it for 5 days is bad, and that is because of the new event Off Limits War, which looks to be an event that will be rotated with Pompeii on an every other week basis. The problem with this is Off Limits War is super fun and it should be run every week, and the fact that it's only 30 minutes makes it a very casual log into the game, play that event, and then you're done for the day and you had fun with this game. And I think one of the reasons why they put it on Tuesday to be rotated with Pompeii is because Archipelago Raid is taking up space from Wednesday to Sunday. And there's no reason Archipelago Raid needs to be 5 days. I think 4 days makes more sense because, as you know, Archipelago Raid has 2 phases. So for phase 1, it can be 2 days instead of 3, and for phase 2, it will be 2 days. This will free up Wednesday, allowing people to register and play Off Limits War on that day instead on a weekly basis, and it's going to keep the player base happy, having more fun, and having something to do that is competitive on a weekly basis. That's short and sweet. And speaking of Off Limits War, my fourth recommendation is actually when it comes to matchmaking. So matchmaking has always been a big issue in this game. It makes people quit the game because you're playing a game, suddenly there's a huge whale in your bracket that should be in Apex, but they're instead in Fearless Warzone. I have no problem with whale players at all. It's just a problem when you have a super mega whale in Fearless Warzone. So if you have a standard whale in Fearless Warzone, that's okay. But a super whale, that's too much. So instead, what I think IGG should do is just like Off Limits War, where the might determines the matchmaking, whether you are going to be in Fearless, Elite, or Apex Warzone, then each of the PvP event should also have a cap on the maximum might that you're allowed to have when you're entering that zone. For example, the Budding Warzone, in my opinion, should be capped around 150 million might, while the Fearless Warzone should be capped at a maximum of 250 million might. Elite Warzone should be capped around 400 million, and Apex Warzone should have no cap. So that means if you are a lower might player, you can play at any higher Warzone, but if you want to play at a lower Warzone, then you need to have a lower might. The other thing that IGG can implement is kind of like the Off Limits War, where if your might is too high and you enter a lower Warzone, then you will experience a penalty of 30% reduction in your power. So that is also something that would be good to implement in this kind of situation, just to make the matchmaking more even. And again, I think this is a generous amount because 250 million might is still very strong for Fearless Warzone, but it's not going to be most likely a mega whale. It's just going to be a standard whale, which is fine. Whales are a part of this game. They are an important part of the ecosystem, and this won't change it too drastically in a sense that whales are still here, just not the mega whales for Fearless Warzone or Budding Warzone specifically. So those are my suggestions for IGG to improve this game while keeping the player base happy, which will allow them to play longer. And if they keep playing this game for a long time, then Doomsday Last Survivor will earn more money for IGG. So it's a win-win altogether for every party. That's about it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.